Pisces, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being with me today. I am so happy to be doing your reading. I know it's taken me a long time to get to it. I think there's a lot of powerful change that's in the works for you. And I think as it's taken me a while to get to it, it was a sign in itself that you're in this moment of sort of like waiting before you jump. Because I was waiting before I like jumped into it. I wanted to really be able to tap into your energy when I felt the timing was right. And I was really called to put the side goddess Isis on. She's always on my shelf, but I felt to bring her into the frame for you. And so there are some beautiful messages in store for you today. Before we get started, I just want to say that I'm new to YouTube. So if any of this resonates with you, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, drop me a comment, let me know what resonated. I would really appreciate it. It would really help me to grow the channel. So I feel a lot of like scattered energies for you. I think you're aware of this powerful change that's come in. I think it's been happening for a while now. And some things may have ended that have kind of like pushed you into a situation where you feel like there's kind of like a time limit on it. And I know you're very perceptive and very intuitive yourself. And so it feels a little bit scattered. And so I just want to like kind of help you bring that energy together and maybe shift a little bit the perspective on what's happening right now. I really got the sense that you were swimming upstream. Like it's been difficult, like you're moving against a current where you are. And normally you rely on your connections, right? To flow through that energy a little bit better. And oftentimes when things have really changed in your life, it's been because of those connections, where you get opportunities and more possibilities. And this is really a time for you to withdraw, actually, and maybe your usual ways of connecting with people, maybe it's not working like the way that it normally does. It's not like flowing naturally. It's feeling a little bit like work, like it's taking effort. And it's all for a reason. It's not that you're not supported. It's not that things are not going to work out. It's that Spirit wants you to tap into a whole different type of resource. And I'm going to get to that a little bit later because it was really, really beautiful what came through. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about your incredible gifts that you have as a creative, as someone who can really see what's appealing, what will entice people, what feels good, what looks good, right? You have that natural gift. It's so strong in you, it's so innate in you that it can also get the best of you, and it can also paralyze you into wanting to create this picture of perfection, perceived perfection, not actual perfection, because the true perfection is the way that we are in our, messy human self, right? Where we try things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we fall, we get back up. Sometimes we scrape our knees. Sometimes we're triumphant, right? Successful. Other times we have to go back to the drawing board. And those are all beautiful stages of the process of creation and of evolution and of building and constructing. You, as an artist, as a natural born artist, there's a need for you to understand that painting by numbers is just not going to cut it anymore. It's not going to cut it for the planet. It's not going to cut it for the age that we're entering into. But most of all, it's not cutting it for you, is it? you have grown tired and frustrated of kind of like going through the same cycle and using the same formulas. They've gotten you really far, but now it's like there's a stagnation unless you move forward in the direction of your dreams, right? Of what you want to call into your life. And so there's a need for you to, like I was saying, to withdraw. And I would say to almost like lock yourself in a room, give yourself the hours, like a set amount of hours, and make sure that you set certain benchmarks for every day so that you can actually get through the planning stages of what it is that you're trying to do. In the Pisces energy, there's this feeling of like, there is a little bit of self-sabotage in the sense that like there's the perfection that gets you paralyzed from moving forward. And then at the same time, there's an attraction to complex relationships and complex people, because then you can use your gifts, your art, your compassion, like all the things that want to come out through your projects. When you get paralyzed, you put them onto people and things that you want to fix, that you feel you can help to improve. And before you know it, you've entered into this cycle where your life is not about you. It's about figuring this person out. It's about defining this relationship. It's about figuring out that dynamic at work and why things aren't working the way that you want them to, why you haven't gotten the promotion that you know you deserve. And so it starts to become about all these sort of external things that you need to fix, except instead of it being about you creating the thing that you want to create. And it's really like that critical time that you've been feeling like either you've been pushed into it or you're just feeling that it's a critical time. It's because the energies are really aligned to help you bring this into fruition now. And I really felt like what's going to help you to not go into that self-sabotage where you prioritize others' needs above you, where you make excuses about, you know, first wanting to connect with people before you get anything done. That is actually a need that you have that is the very thing that you have been denying yourself of, and you've been getting it by connecting with other people. And it's time for you to really access certain realms and certain energies that are going to help you tap into that yourself. And it is 100% your femininity. It's like tapping into, and it doesn't, you know, this applies to males as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you have to be like a wild woman. It's about tapping into that wild woman energy, you know, like that saying, like, let your hair loose, right? Buy some finger paint and just go crazy and make a mess. Yes, I said it, make a mess, you know, and see like what comes out of you, because it's not meant to be this perfect project, this perfect picture that you're going to hang on the wall or sell in a museum. This is about you releasing like this stagnation and this need to do things perfectly. So there's a real need for you to go into that like earthly, feminine energy and explore and adventure and make mistakes and learn from them and keep going and like harness that intuition that you have and apply it to these beautiful expressions that you're working on. There's this other aspect that came in around the same theme of the feminine. It's like the mind and the heart. You have been so good at like outlining and identifying the paint by numbers, like how to like following formulas to get to a place that you feel is successful. And when you get there, you realize, actually, that's not where I want to be. I want to be in this other place, or I want to be higher, or I want to be broader, or I want to expand more. Like it's that formula that you figured out to get to a certain point, and then coming to it and realizing this just isn't enough and it's not fulfilling anymore. And so what's come through is that a lot of emphasis has been put at you looking at your future and looking at what you want to build through the mind. And that can really cloud the horizon that is so much wider and bigger and magical and beautiful when it comes from the heart. And so that's why you're being called to bring in these like feminine energies and use your intuition and like drop into your heart space and the connections with people. That's where you feed from that, right? Is that love. It's that unconditional love that you get from your relationships. That's the thing that you're looking for as fuel for your projects. And so if that's not accessible right now, which I'm getting the sense that it's not the way that it normally is, just readily available, like anyone you call, anyone you want to connect with is usually there. Things are a little bit stagnant in that area, but it's really because Spirit wants you to be able to access that unconditional love by yourself. And what's come through is like, I'm sure you guys hear there's like a party going on in the house, but yeah, it's like, which is really funny because here I am like in the room by myself doing this reading instead of like plugging into that, that party energy. And there's a real need for you to do that, right? So what came through that I'm trying to get to is that you are looking for higher purpose in the things that you are creating, that you're doing, that you're a part of. And you may not specifically know that that's what it is, but it's like, it's just not as fulfilling anymore, right? And so there's a need for you to like tap into that intuition and that feminine energy to really pinpoint like, what is that higher purpose in the thing that I'm doing? Like, what perspective can I take? What shift can I make so that there's an angle to what I'm doing that is a real expression of like the love that's in my heart, right? And so what came through is that you're so tapped into the angelic realm. It's like you are an angel on the planet. And I think you know that. I don't feel like that's news to you. There's like an angelic beauty about you, about the things that you do and how you see the world, but it can get blocked by the more masculine perspective of like how things should look and their structures and how to build them. And so that's what this powerful change is really about. It's also about you. It's about your language and about you having a relationship with self. When you build your spiritual practices, that's where you really thrive and you start to feel that like love energy and you start to feel more feminine. I saw so much pink around you. That's like, it's your true nature. Like your true nature is actually very whimsical. And this is really a time for you to tap into that, who you really are, and let it emerge out of you and witness that process, because that's kind of what's needed from your projects. Like what's happening to you is sort of reflected in your work and your creations. Like it's actually the same thing that you're going through is what's happening in what you're doing. So the more you free yourself in that whimsical nature that you have, in that intuition and the beauty and the magic, why Lady Isis, I was so called to bring her into your reading, because that is what you're about, right? Magic and beauty. Like you have all this creative energy and you have all these abilities and you really are very feminine and magical and beautiful. So I was like trying to figure out like, where is the stagnation happening? Like, is there a tug of war? And so what really came through is that you don't think that you deserve it. And it's because of a certain hierarchy that maybe you learned as a child or in your surroundings or in the idea that you're not wealthy, that you didn't grow up wealthy, that there's some sort of lack mentality that's like getting in the way. It's not necessarily a tug of war. It's a lack mentality of like, somehow you feel inferior unless you have like a certain look or a certain type of person in your life, or you live in a certain place with, you know, a certain environment and in this career. And like a lot of the things that you've built have been about giving you like a certain status that really is about you telling yourself that you're worthy, that you're okay, that you've made it, that you are in that beauty and that magic, as opposed to just being in it. It's like creating things to convince yourself and justify to yourself that you are worthy. No one can give you that, and no amount of money or status can give you that ability that you already have. So it's like chasing your own tail in a way. Like you are seeking the thing that you already are. And that's the biggest message. And it's about like unleashing that feminine energy. And that's what's happening right now, right? You're taking the time to do that, to figure out that you are this person. And once that happens, like you're going to enter into this whole new beginning. There's going to be like, once you're in that flow, it's like, it's endless. Like whatever it is you want to make, you'll make, but really do some of the things that I said to help you tap into that. I'm actually gonna start pulling the tarot, because otherwise I'm just gonna like keep going. But like before I forget, so I talked about like possibly like, you know, just lock yourself in your office or in your room or like in your backyard. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like a place that's, you know, created for working. It can definitely be much more of a creative environment. But give yourself that solid time to start to draw out a plan of what this like new thing looks like, what these new creations look like. And no one's going to see it. You're not going to share it with anyone. You don't even have to follow through with it. It's about you imagining like, what can I possibly create? What does it look like? What is the path that I really want to be on? What's the perspective that I want to take, right? In my creations. Like I already know how to create things. Like that's what all this time has been about, is developing the skills to do it. So now it's like, what do I want to make myself? I've been making stuff for other people for a very long time and taking care of other people and trying to fix people. No, it's time to focus that energy on you and on what you want to make. So you're going to enter into a different frequency. Like I just felt the shift and I got a little bit dizzy because it's going to be like a big leap from where you're at, and you're not going to believe, like once you open those gates, it's like the creative energy is going to, like, it's just going to flood out. You've gotten so far and you've done so much that it wouldn't be fair for you to like create a whole new cycle where you're painting by numbers still. You know what I mean? Like it's not what it's about. And you know that, but you get paralyzed in the perfection. And so this is a time for you to really shed that old way of being, that you might have like learned as a child or felt inferior in some way. And that hasn't really allowed you to completely break open and just tap into that angelic divine love that's going to fuel your passions and your creations. There's a need, I mentioned language, like there's a need for you to watch the way that you speak and know that like your words create your reality. So just be very conscious of that and make sure that you're always talking to yourself with love and you're doing like all the self-care things that you need to do to feel good, right? Especially now that you're needing to withdraw from relationships during that time. It's like you got the Hermit card. You got Hermit next to Justice. Oh, sorry. That wasn't upside down. I just turned that. You got Hermit next to Justice. So this is really a time for you to create the path that you're supposed to be on. It's like, it's the time to do that. But first, you have to withdraw, and you have to like not scatter your energies around and give of yourself to other people right now. Like, this is really a time to nurture yourself and expand this feminine energy into your creations. This is also about you like mastering yourself. This is about you growing into the person that like understands love and the way the universe works, and like how magic happens, and what kind of flow you need to be in for that to happen. Like, it's about you learning those things. It's about you having strength when things get hard. You got, I'll just show you. I forget to show the cards because I get so caught up in the reading, but you got the Strength card and the Hierophant. So this is really a need to develop self before your creations. It's about you persevering when things get a little rough, and not like falling back into your old way of doing things. And you're gonna need a daily practice for sure. Like, or even if it's a class that you go to, earthing is really important for you for sure, like being out in nature, but you need something that's like even more specific, like a class that you go to every day, that's, you know, that is your spiritual time. That's going to really help you with building that strength when things get like stagnant, or where you hit like a block, or you feel creatively blocked, or like, you know, it's about you opening up the energy when you get to that phase. It's not about reverting or going back into like comfort zones. It's about you breaking through that through your practices. But you're really building from a place of maturity, and like you've grown so much. It's so beautiful. We were just talking about, I was really surprised the Magician didn't come out earlier, because you know, all this creation energy, it's like you're becoming the magician, right? That's what the Strength and the Hierophant is about. It's like you're becoming this manifester, this creator. You're going to be able to use everything at your disposal, everything that you have, and you're going to be able to create whatever it is that you want out of it. But that's what becoming an expert in this field is actually about. Like, meaning in this field, like this field of co-creating and conscious living and like manifesting and magic and love and the angelic realm that is so supporting you right now. So that's what this energy is about. And it's about you mastering that, right? I talked about self-mastery. Well, this is you becoming that expert. Like, you've spent all of this time developing the formula, right? Like I talked about earlier. This is you saying, now I know the formula, and so now I break the formula, and now I explore and I express. And the things that will come out of you are going to really surprise you, and they're going to be incredible contributions to the world, to the planet. There's also been an ending in your life, because it says, I do wish you well. There might have been an ending, like either a relationship or a career. Not a career, like a job. Something came to a close. It's not super, I wouldn't say it was like life-changing, I don't have any cards indicating that it was like kind of a catastrophic tower moment, but something might have just kind of ended its cycle. And with this card, I do wish you well. Spirit wants you to know that there was actually no ill intention on either part, which is beautiful. It means that you can move forward in the energy knowing that it's just that time has run its course. Spirit, give me one more shadow card for Pisces. Yeah, fear of rejection. My dear Pisces, you will not be rejected. So that's definitely something, a fear that you need to shed. You won't be rejected. When you come from that whimsical, beautiful space, that graceful energy that you have, that is the beauty that needs to be poured into your projects and your creations. It's not about it's not about the wrapping. It's not about the bow, right? It's about it's about what's inside. It's about, the heart that you bring, right? And again, it's everything that you already have. Okay. I'm going to pull a few ancient symbol cards for you. But actually, before I do that, I want to encourage you to reach out to your angels, to connect with Goddess Isis. What you're doing right now is actually about allowing and freeing, and not doing and building, right? It's somehow even just the terminology of it, which is why language kept coming up, is one of the aspects of it that's paralyzing. So it's just about you freeing yourself and allowing yourself to come from your true nature when you approach these things. And ask your angels for help, for guidance. Ask Lady Isis to help you. She is with you guys in that unconditional love. Okay. My dear Pisces, this is so beautiful. You got affluence. And the way that you're going to get there is through freedom. Freedom to be, freedom to express, freedom to mess up and try again. It's like a radical self-acceptance is what Lady Isis is asking you to understand in this time, to be able to love yourself in every way, in every time, and to know that you are so worthy in all of it. Spirit, give me another ancient symbols card. Yeah, you got message. Again, it's a beautiful sign to connect with your angels. There's messages for you that you're going to tap into because you're very intuitive. You're going to be able to tap into them when you're in that flow and in that feminine energy. Spirit, give me one more. And good fortune. Luck is on your side, my dear Pisces. These are beautiful cards. Good fortune, I mean, anything that you do from this place, from this understanding of self-love and self-worth, is going to be successful. Okay, and the overall energy you got is gratitude. So make sure that you are taking the time to do these daily practices, to say thank you to your angels, to say thank you for everything that you do have, to help you be in your heart space. There's nothing greater than gratitude to really like unlock that heart space and start to feel the love that the universe has had with you, for you, throughout all this time. You're never without help and without support. Like, there's always been a hand that comes out of nowhere to lift you back up and to remind you that you are deserving and you are a beautiful being on the planet. Okay, I'm just going to pull a couple of Whispering Wood cards just to see if there are a few other messages or confirmations for you. Transform, emerge with beauty and grace, which has been the theme of this reading, with our lovely Lady Isis showing up for you. You're really going to break free. You're going to break free and you're going to give yourself the love that you seek from others. Like, you're going to give that to yourself, and you're just going to make such an impact in the world when you come from that place. Kindness. This is about you being kind to yourself. This is about you admiring yourself the way that you do others. And path. Yeah. You're creating a new path. You're wandering a path less traveled. That's why you got the Justice card as well. And of course, thank you, Spirit, for this confirmation. Overall energy, you got flow. So this is really about you being in your beautiful, divine, feminine flow. And also your Pisces flow. Have fun, make a mess, splash. I love you, my dear Pisces. I wish you a really happy new year. And I know you're going to make great things. I totally believe in you, and you have everything that you need. You have your angels, you have good fortune, you have all the creative ability, and you have the know-how. So it's about you sitting in the lab. Sit in the lab and start creating it and flowing, and about having your spiritual practices every day. I love you.